All right, all right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Coach here. I'm coming to you with a Deadzone Monthly. I got my man Tim with me, and I got
Hey,
Lee with me from the Rules Committee because we are in 19 different time zones and we have 400 countries involved. Guys might pop in and out, but it's hard to coordinate. I know some people were complaining about the time, but you know, it is what it is. The Brits, no worries, and then they don't come on anyway. But what we're going to do is this. If you're catching this live, that's awesome. I have enabled the questions. If you want to ask a question, you have to go to Google Plus and ask a question on the question thing that's on your right-hand side. And then we'll get to the questions. We can address them accordingly. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll periodically check back to YouTube, but if you put your question on YouTube, it's a little tough for me to get to. I would suggest you do it on Google Plus. And also I'm going to check Twitter, which is FOG777 Coach. Throw some questions up there, and we can get started. But if you missed this on YouTube or you watch it on YouTube and I'm too handsome for you and you can't handle it, this will also be simulcast on the Deadzone podcast once we finish. So we're going to have it on YouTube, on G+, and on Deadzone, the podcast. My buddy Rob and Jake will put it up there. So this is an important one, fellas. We got to get to it. We got to get this message out there. So what we're going to start off with, I'm going to shut my big mouth. I'm going to let Tim introduce himself, and then we'll get to Lee, and then we'll get to the heart of the matter. All right? Go ahead, Tim. You're up.
alrighty. So I'm Tim Jackson. I'm part of the Deadzone Rules Committee. Joined the Rules Committee when it got first started back in 2014. Been having a blast doing it. I'm Coach and I were the ones to set up this FAQ. This FAQ talk and stream and everything. I'm the one that screwed up all the time zones for everyone, so we may or may not see some of the other members, but hopefully Arthur makes it and we can get some other voices in here as well. I don't know if Mark's going to make it or not. I haven't heard anything from him at all. So anyways, that's really what's going on. I'm other than that, I'm a student and graduating this hopefully this summer, and then off to start an actual career.
Nice. You got to do like me, man. 4 jobs. Get it done, man. All right, Lee, introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Lee Montgomery. I'm, like Tim, on the Deadzone Rules Committee. Been on it since the beginning. I'm an avid Mantic fan. Been a gamer most of my life, and just here along for the ride, I guess, or the burning, whatever's going to happen. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna give you my disclaimer at the beginning, like we did last time. I love this game. This game is, I refer to it as my game. I don't know if you guys seen some of the videos or whatnot that I've put out, but it's basically this is my game. I feel passionate about this game. But the thing is, there's 2 rules in life that you got to go for. Number 1 is don't be a dick, and number 2 is you always remember rule number 1. So we'll have a heated discussion with respect to each other because I don't agree with some stuff. I do agree with some stuff, and then I want answers to some stuff. So we have a great dialogue. If we're going to have a bar fight, we should have just met somewhere and actually did that. But we're not. We want to have a really. I want to have a discussion about this because honestly, my enjoyment of the game is at a high level. All the guys in my group, the enjoyment's at a high level. All those mooks who said that version 2, I'm out of it, it sucks, I'm out of it, didn't understand that, a bunch of us were play testing this game, and I'm like, guys, just try it out. Stop being stupid. Just try it out and do it. And I got to tell you, the game, I loved version 1, and I couldn't believe that I loved version 2 more. So, it's going to be like that. Now, before we get into the heart of the matter, which is all the questions, the errata and the FAQs, let's get into. I know I didn't understand it, and Tim explained it to me, but I'd like us to go over it. How does it go from the game is written, I have my book, right? So I get my rule book, and I look through my rule book. Now, No one is perfect. We know no one is perfect. Things get left out, typos and whatnot. It's okay. And if that's a real bugaboo for you, you got to get over that, because it's just, there's no perfect thing in this world. How does it go from the rule book, rules committee, Mantic, FAQ, all that stuff? Like, what's the process? Because I want to know, like the way it seems like on the internet. If you read the internet, the rule book comes out, the rules committee gets it and screws it up and makes it an FAQ. And I know it's not like that. Like, what's the procedure? Like, how does it go from you to Mantic back and like, what's the procedure, or what happens with that? Because we need to sort that out.
Okay, so essentially the way it worked out is we got the book to the finished rule book to Mantic. They sent it off to print, and then once print was complete, they started distributing it out from the Kickstarter, sending out the PDF, stuff like that. As soon as we got the book back, we were digging through it. The community started digging through it. As you said, things are going to happen. We found some things that we left out, or typos, stuff that we just didn't catch during our proof. At that point, we started planning out what we were going to do as far as an FAQ. Arthur opened up a thread on the Mantic forum, so that people could put whatever they found, whatever errors or typos or questions that they had, things that needed clarification, stuff like that, and that's where we started compiling everything. At the same time, we have a Deadzone Slack. I don't know if you've ever heard of Slack. It's a sort of chat-based organizational tool, and so we started using that to kind of piece together all of the different things that we needed to look at, and put together a Word document that got sent back and forth between us and Mantic, and the final end result is the FAQ that was finally sent out, or was finally distributed from Mantic's website.
Okay, so basically, it's not like you don't even have the final say on the FAQ. Mantic has the final say on the FAQ, correct?
Mantic and Jake get the final say. I don't remember there being a whole lot of things that we recommended that Mantic or Jake naysayed. So I don't remember there being very much that, if anything, that we suggested in the FAQ that didn't actually make it into the final FAQ. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's Mantic's game. Jake is the original designer of the rules. They trump us as far as decisions go. So.
Right. So you guys aren't the end all be all of the FAQ. It's still got to go. We all have a boss to deal with, and you guys have to deal with Jake and Ronnie and those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For final approval. Yeah. Okay. So although you guys have a thankless job, because I know Lee, you're on Facebook like me, all over the place as far as Deadzone's concerned, and some of these guys are just heartless and ruthless, and like I said, if you go back to my 2 rules, we can get all the stuff done. So how do you guys handle that though when guys come up on the about the FAQ or the infestation? Because I know you guys were doing. You guys know I did the video. I'm a big fan of the infestation book. And like I said, we're going to do a video series on just the infestation book. But like, how do you guys deal with that stuff? Like all that negativity that comes at you? Because I would hate for this to be the 40K community.
Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really doesn't bother me that much. I mean, of course, it bothers me that not everyone's happy, but we understand that not everyone's gonna like everything that happens and like certain decisions that get made, and that's unfortunate. And we do listen to why. But if people are gonna be mad, I mean, I can't make them like it, and I can't change it just to please them either. So I mean, it's gonna be what it is. I mean, there's only so much that we're able to do. I'm happy to take the blame for stuff people don't like, and Mantic can take the credit for the things they do. It's just going to be what it is.
Right. That's that old FedEx commercial when the guy says, "Why don't we use FedEx Ground?" and then the boss goes, "Well, let's use FedEx Ground," and he says, "Well, he took credit for it, but he did like this, You know what it is? It's I think you're never going to please everybody 100%. It's just not going to happen, because if I play Forge Fathers and you do anything that's bad for the Forge Father, I'm going to be pissed off. So, it makes a lot of sense. It makes total sense. So, all right, you guys want to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to add, Coach. That's another part of it, is that every question or vision of how the game's going to play out, and not everyone's matches, and that's why we've all got different opinions on what's good and what's bad. It's everyone can make it their own. It's just the thing that gets made isn't going to match everyone's interpretation, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, well, opinions are like buttholes, Everybody's got one. Sometimes they stink, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, here we go. Let's get into the errata, okay? And I got it all laid out here, and then I got some of my own personal questions that I want to ask you guys. And then maybe at the end, maybe there's a few erratas or FAQs that didn't get in that you think might have been, that maybe should have been in, stuff like that. So, all right, so errata in the Deadzone rulebook, second paragraph, change the shoot action cannot be taken if the active model is in the same queue as an enemy model unless specified otherwise. So basically, if you're in a fight, you can't shoot. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. I thought that the original the rules in the rulebook were specific enough for that, but it was a question that kept coming up over and over again, so we figured we'd just clarify it and be done with it. So
yeah. I think that there's nothing wrong. We did a live monthly with a bunch of guys. We were kind of talking about it. I don't have any problem with a clarification, because, like, to me it made sense. If you're in a fight, you can't shoot out of it. But what I saw was, I think it says unless specified otherwise. I have a feeling you guys, or maybe Jake, or in the future, there's some characters going to come out that can shoot in a fight. So unless it's unless it's in his rule set, maybe a gunslinger or something like that. I see Lee smiling. So maybe somebody comes out and they have like a pistol or something like that, and they can use in a fight. Why not? Why not? Something in close combat.
Yeah, the unless otherwise specified isn't necessarily a guarantee that we're going to do that.
Okay.
But it's definitely a tool to leave that kind of design space open.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It may be V17 by the time we get to there. Maybe somebody's in there. Who knows? But that's pretty good. All right. The rampage ability. Okay. I thought this was good. I'll just summarize it. Basically, if there's 4 guys in a cube, you rampage. Can you move into that cube? Now, in the rules I can't have more than 4 sizes of my guys in a cube, but now that, let's say there's 4 zombies and a aberration wants to move in, now you're talking 8 guys. So you can move in, you could beat him up, but the first move, if the guy doesn't rampage again, he's got to get out. It makes perfect sense. I think that was a good clarification, because that was a little bugaboo. Should we move in? Should we not move in? So that was a very good clarification. Okay, next. Missions. The VPs to win, 100's 12, 150 16, 2, 250, 300 is 20. That's not in the rule book, huh?
I thought it was.
The table got cut.
Was that what it was?
Because I remember seeing it.
Yeah, in layout, it.
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of those things that in layout it looks like it's there. If you've ever had it happen to you, you're looking at the screen, it shows it there, and you hit print, and something comes out, and it's not on there like you thought it was, and that was what happened to the table. Basically, it kind of cut off. It wasn't supposed to be in the final print.
Mm-hmm. But it was in the not the PDF of the book, but when Mantic sent out the beta of the rules, it was an Adobe file. I remember it was on there, and then this was on all the playtesting betas that we got too. So it was there for a long time. So, but I guess it makes sense to put it in because a new guy coming in doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was basically all the errata. It made sense. It made a lot of sense to clarifications. It's always good to have that clarification in there because as gamers, we're just going to naturally argue every frickin' point there is. So, all right, now, Tim, last time we talked, did you guys take my thing into consideration for this? The Forge Father Huskarl 2 Stubborn to Die ability. Change the roll from a 3-dice survive test to 2 with no modifiers, not even command dice.
Yeah, so what we did is we definitely went back and forth on this one, and we considered rewriting the rule, giving him something different. We considered completely getting rid of the roll and just allowing him to just recover a wound, and then we also considered just changing the number of successes that he needed to get it. We decided that, especially with how tough the Forge Fathers already are, that allowing him to just recover a wound as if he had a med pack, because I mean that's basically what it would become if there wasn't a test. Is he'd get a free med pack for anyone on the field every time he rolled a splat. We decided that was too strong. And we went in and we did the math, and it comes out to the original setting where you had to get 3 successes came out for most models to be about a 20-something% chance. On 3 dice or on 2 successes came out to be like a 70-something% chance,
Right.
And then the 1 dice was basically going to almost always be a success anyways. So we decided that 2 dice is probably the best compromise.
Okay. Yeah. See, my thing was my thing with that was this is the only rule in the book where if you roll, everybody else, like if you have a splat, it gives it automatic ability. I become a zombie. I steal a dice from you. Whatever. This one with the splat gives you an ability to make another test. That's why this is the only rule in the book that's like that. So, and I was pissed because this is the guy I always take. So, but
which is perfectly fair. It's just that since he doesn't have to be next to the model, and if we weren't to make a test for that, it would be incredibly powerful to be able to just instantly recover a wound for any given model or any steel warrior model, and not have to make a test for it. You don't even have to be next to him like you would with a medkit, and the faction is already one of the toughest factions. So we just decided it was a little bit too strong to just automatically give it to him, so we needed to make some sort of a test.
Right. I mean, I'm still going to bitch about it, but I understand. I mean, 75% of the time is still good, because it is a very powerful rule. I mean, if I'm lucky enough to get a splat with him, but also too he's only a tactician 1, so you're only getting 4 dice instead of 5. So it is a little difficult to get it, but I understand. But that's one of the ones like I'm not gonna be happy, but I'm still gonna play that rule.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on. Stage 2, 3D Hellhound with the Beast ability, which makes sense. In my book, it already has it, but now it's already there. So some of these things are just like omissions, like that was an omission, like it should have been there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
3A rifle should be rapid fire, which is new. All right, so now here's the biggest I think change in the book, and I'm gonna read it, then we'll discuss it. The zombies, the stage 3 Zs, remove the tough ability and change survive to a 6+. So they remove tough, and they are not a 5+ anymore. They're a 6+ anymore. So what was the thinking on that?
Do you want to field this one, Lee? I've been talking a lot.
Oh, sure. Okay, I'll take this one. Why not?
Yeah, set you right up.
The thing with the zombies is they were a little bit contagious. What's that?
You know what it is, Lee? I'm gonna let you go ahead talk. You're lagging, so like you started talking and then I cut in. So
Can you hear me
just go ahead.
okay?
Don't worry about it. Ignore me.
Okay. They're a little bit contentious with their zero VP being pretty cheap, really spammable, and so there was quite a lot of areas in the community where the feedback was is they were just too strong as they were. They break out the dreaded broke phrase for them, right? So they needed kind of changed on some level for being zero VPs. They were just, for a lot of folks, were finding them too hard to kill, and so they were too easy to just spam and just overrun the table, and you couldn't win as the opponent in those cases, because if you finally did kill them, you didn't get any VPs for it. So a list could be a VP denial list, take a leader and all zombies, and the only way you win is by wiping them out, and then now you're kind of in a spot where you're just going to eventually get overrun and succumb to the numbers because they were tough, because they had a good survive, because they had a decent fight. They had too many good things going for them and just not quite enough of a drawback to balance that out. And so we had a couple of options in front of us, and the one that ended up getting chosen was just kind of those particular ones that you see in front of you now.
Yeah, they were really, really tough to deal with 5+ fight and the and the tough ability, and then now with the I'm trying to get to them. I want to get to the entry. Now they no longer tough. They have the horde ability. They're vulnerable. They still got a 5+ fight, which is still good. The horde ability is tough because if you get caught with that, I don't know any plague player who's building a good list is not going to take anywhere from 8 to 12 of them, because they're 6 points apiece depending on your points. I mean, you hoard them out. They're just, you either deal with them now or deal with them later. I like, it's not really a nerf. They're still really, really tough, and like I think one of the best units in the game. But the 0 victory points is just a kick in the face. It's really, really tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Now with them.
Yeah, and I think that kind of the.
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead. Keep going.
Sorry. So yeah, I think that was kind of the thing with them, is the 0 VP stat was kind of what made it contentious with the whole situation. They not only were they good, but you didn't get any credit for killing them.
Right.
And so we either had to retain where they were and make them worth something, or kind of bring them back down to a level that made that a bit of a trade-off. So that's kind of where it's at right now.
Now, with the zombies, are they able to hold objectives in the game?
Yes, currently they are.
Okay, because that's tough, man. A 0 VP model, 6 points with all this good stuff, being able to hold on to objective. I can't see a zombie downloading information off an objective. I have a little bit of I have an issue with that. Now fluff-wise, it's tough. The zombies are coming in, they want to eat your brain. Oh, by the way, let's download the secret GCPS information, because we got to bring it back to the Plague Lord. There's I got a bugaboo about that.
I'll grant you that, but holding an objective.
And I think it.
So anyone that's watching, you'll have to forgive us. This Lee is on a tablet, so there's a little bit of a lag between him and Coach and I. So when if we're interrupting each other, it's not because we're trying to be rude or because we're.
I keep forgetting there's a lag too myself.
But it's just the fact that by the time one or the other of us starts talking, we don't realize that the other one already has. So I was going to say, I grant you that it's that it's weird that way. But I mean, keep in mind that holding an objective isn't necessarily downloading information or something. They could just be standing there and preventing someone else to get there, because if a horde of zombies is standing around some sort of a data jack input port, then that'll make it easier for the plague to come along and get it later. So it's kind of weird. We may have to revisit it, but same thing with giving them beast or something, because I know that's another point of contention for you. Is you really want them to be beasts, and we may have to come back and look at that again as well, because it seems weird to have them going around the field picking up items and stuff. But at least for now, we decided that this was enough of a change. We test out the water with this first, and then see if we needed to come. Because if we just hit him too hard with the Nerf bats, then people would stop using them altogether, and people would throw their hands up and start screaming. And so we wanted to kind of test out the waters with this first, and then we could come back and check out Beast, or stopping them from holding objectives and stuff as well, if it was still necessary.
Okay. You don't want to kill them too hard.
Exactly.
For the new stuff. Yeah, I understand that, and it makes sense. If they're standing around an objective, you're going to have them wipe them out to get that objective anyway. So it makes a lot of sense. I guess that's why it burns and blast weapons are in Deadzone.
Yeah, exactly. Take care of them first, then you can go. Then you can go play with your new toys.
Yeah, I think now though, the way they are now, they're a little bit. They're still really, really good, but they're manageable. It's not so. I hate to use the word OP, but they were just. It was tough to get rid of them, and the fact that you're killing them with 0 VPs, it was like, I remember I was playing one game with the Enforcers versus Plague, and I wiped out like 7 zombies in one round, and it was a great round. I was killing all these zombies, and I got 0 VP for it, and it was just terrible. But now, let me ask you this. I got a 0 VP model. In the missions, like there, and I don't quote me on the names, but in the main rulebook, there's certain missions, and even in the Infestation, the secret missions, where it changes it, where the objective's only worth all kills are worth 1, but the objectives are worth 2. Does that give a VP value to 0 VP models?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. So if you hoard out a bunch of zombies and I kill 7 of them, I'm getting 7 points for that if that's my secret mission.
Exactly. So it makes more of a it also makes it more of a risk for you for someone to spam hordes, because there's a chance you could roll that secret mission that allows you to gain victory points for killing zombies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, so I think we beat the zombies to death, but I think it was a positive change in my humble opinion. I think it was good. I think you guys did a good job on that. All right, so let's go. Plague Swarm has the Beast ability, which why would a Plague Swarm download information? So, but that makes sense.
Or pick up a grenade.
They can't throw a grenade. Yeah. So now a zombie can throw a grenade.
A zombie could pick up a grenade, but I don't think they have a shoot stat.
They don't have a shoot stat, right? Okay, so that makes sense. So they can carry items.
Can pick since we didn't give them beasts, they can pick up items. They just don't. Most items they wouldn't have anything to do with. You could pick up a grenade, but it wouldn't do you any good. You couldn't throw it. You could pick up a smoke grenade, but you couldn't throw it.
They could pick up an intel though.
They could pick up intel. So it's. Again, it breaks that a little bit, and we may come back and revisit giving them beast or something. But at least for now, we decided that was enough. That was enough picking on the poor zombies.
Yeah. All right. I still think that's silly, but okay. I got you. All right. Plague Strider ability option should be ranged in the campaign. Okay, so that's new. The Enforcer Strider removes Scout and add the vehicle ability. So that's both of those are new. What was the thinking behind that? I know I understand Scout, and they were listed under vehicle, so I assumed that they were vehicles.
Yeah, so there's a couple things going on with that one. First of all, there's the fact that as far as them being vehicles but not having the vehicle ability, it's the same thing with weapons being having the heavy ability but not necessarily being a heavy weapon, stuff like that. That was one of the problems that we ran into when we were developing the weapon types and the different abilities types and stuff like that, where we ended up making names that fit both the type as well as the actual name of the ability itself. And we'll definitely have when eventually down the road version 3 comes along, we'll have to be a bit more careful about that and try to make sure that we don't have a lot of terms that are matching, like the vehicle weapon type as well as the vehicle type of unit, stuff like that. So that's one thing that we've got to look out for. We ended up, you're right, it is a vehicle, but it didn't have the vehicle ability, which provides its own bonuses and stuff. So that's why we added the vehicle ability back on there. The Scout was never supposed to be on there to begin with.
Right.
So what happened is at some point when we were transferring our data from our Google Docs spreadsheet to something that Mantic could start putting this information into the rulebook, the profile for the Pathfinder got mixed up with the profile for the Strider. And it was only in the enforcer list we ended up having the Scout, the enforcer Pathfinder stat line being replacing the Strider stat line, and so those abilities like the Scout and Tag and stuff like that ended up replacing stuff that was supposed to be for the Strider, and no matter how many times we went back and fixed it, it just kept cropping up over and over again. Luckily, it seems that by the end, the only thing that was still left on there was Scout was still listed as a Strider ability when it was never supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. It was never supposed to be an ability for the Strider.
Yeah, but having a Strider with Scout was actually pretty cool while it lasted.
I'm sure it was while it lasted.
Okay, so here we go. The dog drone. Burst laser is basically just range 8, which was an omission. But you know, this was one of the things that I went over in the video. A burst laser, I know it's not written on there, but if you just turn a whole one page, it says burst laser is a range 8 anyway. So it's you know, it's almost, I understand it was just, hey, we should have put it up here, but it's no big deal. So that was just, I'm gonna like, you know, that's a typo basically. All right, now dog drone. Add construct and the beast ability. What's up with that?
Go ahead, Lee. I'm talking way too much.
I'm sorry. What are we talking about right now? I'm behind you a little bit.
Dog drone. Add construct and beast ability.
Construct and beast on the dog drone. The construct ability fit, obviously. I felt for the drone. I mean, it is what it is. The beast ability, I don't really recall a lot of discussion about it. I think it was just to keep it from being a pack mule, really. It's a heavy weapon, well, I should say heavy weapon only, but a weapon platform, not a courier vehicle, is what it is kind of set up to be.
Okay, so now, with the heavy weapon, where it takes a long action to use it, you know, if you want to move and shoot a heavy weapon, You need, you really need a command dice or command, +1 to move with it. When you have one of the things I was, I'm going to go on my other list here. When you have a heavy weapon, let's say, a heavy weapon, and it's on a vehicle. Why is it that the vehicle is the same as the as the guy who's carrying it? Like, for instance, the Enforcer jet bike. Now they can take burst lasers, missile launchers, all that cool stuff. The only thing is the missile launcher is heavy. So what I would need to do is move my Enforcer jet bike up, and then once I stay there, if I have a missile launcher, I'm going to have to use a +1 shoot or use the move and then shoot, whatever combination. If the heavy weapon is on a vehicle, shouldn't it not become heavy anymore?
In some cases, the vehicles their weapons will have a slightly different profile on there. Not always. The targeting system can't keep up with the speed. It's still using the targeting system going at man speed, not vehicle speed, and so it'd be hard for it to get it locked. Rather than have it shoot like normal, it's just going to be a move or shoot kind of weapon. That way it can target the way that it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from a game perspective, I mean, can you imagine throwing a missile launcher on a bike that moves 4 cubes and then fires its rocket launcher as its second action?
Yeah, that'd be sweet, man.
Until you're on the other side.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, I've been on both sides, so it's okay. But that's the thing. Now, all right, let's get to jet bikes. I'm gonna go off on my tangent here. Jet bike moves 1 to 5. So now, if I move, why is it like certain things like, all right, jet bike can move 1 to 5, and 5 would be the sprint long action. But let's say the dog drone runs a 2 to 3. Why is that like? And I don't know if this has anything to do with you guys. Maybe you can enlighten us on this, because we've been having this discussion. It's like, why can a Veerman crawler do a short action of a 2 cube, but I got this Enforcer jet bike is the fastest thing in the galaxy, but my short action is only 1. Now, I don't understand it. Maybe you guys can clarify that, because that's been like a heated discussion going back and forth in my group.
So we actually didn't make the stats for the Enforcer jet bike. That was handed to us from Jake. However, the way that I would interpret it is, do you ride motorcycles?
I watch them on the road every time, and they piss me off because I'm in traffic and they go right past me. So.
Okay, so if you've ever been on a motorcycle, you'll realize how incredibly hard it is to maneuver those things at very slow speeds. Mm-hmm. A dog or a Veerman is very maneuverable. It just doesn't have a very high top speed. The bike, on the other hand, is going to have a great top speed, but if you're trying to go slow, it's going to be really hard to maneuver and get it orientated in a reasonable fashion. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, we didn't make the rules, but for the stats for the Enforcer jet bike. But that's how I interpreted it: is that the jet bike is really good at high speeds, can get up to really high speeds and cross the board real fast. But if you're not going really fast, you really need to slow down and be very careful trying to orientate yourself around obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you think about it, it's even more maneuverable, because if you're moving top speed of 5, you're not going to go in a straight line. You can go, you can basically slalom in and out of all the terrain, and still have something happen. Yeah, I had another question, but now the jet bike is 1 to 5. Mm-hmm. Is there any time I have to move 1 or 5? What if I move 3? Is there that, or there's no middle ground?
Nope. If you go and this goes with any of the this goes with anything that goes more than 1 or 2 cubes. If you have a if there's a distinct difference between your minimum speed and your maximum speed, you never have to go your full distance. If you've got a speed of 5 and you only want to go 3, that still counts as a sprint action because you're going more than your 1.
Okay.
But you don't have to go the full 5.
Oh, okay. That see, I think that should have been in the FAQ because for me, I've been taking the jet bikes. You know, you know how it is. I want to play with all the new toys, so I want to use it, but I'm like, man, I really want to go 3 or 4. I don't want to go 5. But you're saying so I have the ability to go 5, but if I want to go 2 or 3 or 4, I can, but knowing that it's a long action.
Yeah, it's still a long action, but you don't have to go the full 5.
Okay.
So we'll definitely have to keep that in mind for a future FAQ update as well, because we thought that would be clear, but if it's not clear, then we should definitely touch on it.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is. It's because the way the rules are, you know, just Deadzone in general, you move either the first stat or the second stat is long, and we've never had anything move more than 3. It was either a 2, 3, or that was basically the limit stat that we had. Now we have 5s. Oh man, all right. Well, you know, and it just makes sense. I mean, I'm going to move 3. All right. Well, that's a long action. You're whatever. But sometimes it's advantageous to move 3 or 4 as opposed to the full maximum movement. All right. I think we beat the jet bikes and stuff to death. And the other thing is that they can take all the weapons now. Everybody was saying that it was a Warpath thing, and I'm like, but I didn't order Warpath. I ordered Deadzone. I want to have my models in Deadzone come with the cool things, and you know, putting a burst laser or a missile launcher on there just makes the jet bike that much sweeter, you know. All right. The Enforcer Strider campaign ability should be changed to range melee, and that's that. All right. Here's a good one. We'll let Lee take this one, and then I guess me and you will be quiet so that he could actually answer this one. Page 62, the Malignus, yes. With the Chem Thrower, change points from 14, replace Chem Thrower, range 1, AP 1, violated burns with ray gun range 4. So basically, changing the Malingus to 14, and then you get to pick whatever weapon you want to put on it. Am I correct in that?
Yes, that's pretty much it. Making it so that they had a generic specialist, essentially, like most of the other lists already have. So that way it made it more flexible for them to outfit their specialist the way they wanted to, instead of being tied and paying the points for the more expensive weapon that it already came with. And that way they had a specialist that's a little more versatile that way.
Yeah, that made sense because when I looked at it, I didn't want to take the Chem Thrower range 1 AP 1 because to me a range 1 a range 1 weapon is not as good as if I have a specialist to take a specialist weapon. I want to get some range on it, and now that I have the ability to do that, it makes a lot more sense. And you know, although I do have to rip some arms off of some models, but you know, I don't mind that. I'm a hobbyist. I could do it. Okay. The Night Terrors, both the combat guy and the spitter guy both have the beast ability. So I guess this is another guy who can't pick up anything or download anything, right? Now, if I have the beast ability, when I have the beast ability, can I hold an objective?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember for sure, but I don't think there's anything in the rule of the beast ability that says you can't. Let me go grab my rulebook real fast.
See, Tim, I'm prepared. I already got it. Okay, here we go. The beast. The model cannot pick up, carry, or use items. All of its weapons are either natural or have been grafted on permanently by skilled biotechnicians. The ability can also apply to models that are already so burdened that their normal combat load that they have no room to carry more. So basically it's an item thing, but it's not an objective thing. So I can have a Night Terror or a Plague Dog or a Zombie hold an objective, correct? Not a zombie because you didn't give it beast.
Well, the zombie can still hold the objective. I don't think what I don't think we have is I don't think we have a rule that specifically says this model can't hold objectives.
Mm-hmm.
Beast only covers items, and I don't think we have one that says this model can't hold objectives.
Right. Which makes sense. It makes sense.
Eventually, we might want to do something like that, but at least for now, I don't remember making a rule that says this model can't hold objectives, because there's the way we saw it is if you're holding the objective, the main thing you're doing is trying to keep your opponent from having it, and so having a slavering giant rat beast is enough to stop your opponent from having it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. The thing is, though, I would rather have. I can understand a 26.3 victory point model holding an objective as opposed to a 6.0 VP model holding an objective. It just, that might just be my issue that I have to work through, but I'll try. All right. This one I'm glad is in here because it just makes so much sense that the Steel Warrior Specialist Storm Rage Veteran can basically take all weapons that they want, because the models came with all these cool weapons, but in it now, so it's like basically every weapon option. He's a specialist. He's a kick-ass guy. Walk into the armory, grab what he wants, and then walks out with it. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that one there.
And it's just more fun.
The main thing with that was there was one specific weapon that we had missed, because there was the magma rifle. It was originally a broker weapon that we said that the Steel Warrior can take, but we'd forgotten to put in the steel or the magma cannon, which he's also allowed to take, and so we needed to get that in there so that he could also take that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. They're specialists. They should be able to do, whatever they want. That I think that, like I said, that was just a typo oversight. That's not a big deal. I mean, we were playing it as such, but now that it's in the rules, it makes a lot of sense, because you don't want it to be you're with a guy and then he's like, wait a minute, you can't take that missile launcher because that is a heavy small arms and that's not in his forte per se.
Yeah.
All right, the Chief Brocker is up to 2 victory points, up from 1. It makes sense. I don't like it, but whatever. I'm a Forge Father player, but yes, I understand. Boombot and Inferno Drill are both constructs. That makes perfect sense. Now this one, add a asterisk to the no pistol. Is that just because that's his the ciphers and everything? They'll always have a sidearm of a no pistol. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, so, I mean, they always have access to a sidearm pistol like that. The other thing we noticed when we were looking through it is, like, we originally intended for all of the pistols to have asterisks next to them, for all of them to be free takes if you wanted them. Mm-hmm. And when we were looking through there, we realized the Asterians were the only faction that didn't have one like mm-hmm. that. So we went back in and made sure that asterisk was put in there. That one was really mostly just a typo. We meant for that to be a sidearm, and it didn't get put in that way in the book for whatever reason.
Yeah, so basically, I like the fact that the guys will have a sidearm, because sometimes you don't want to, it calls for not using the heavy weapon. You might want to get into combat, or you want to maybe shoot somebody and then use a special ability for something else, like a turning on or downloading the information, a special action to call in a strike team or whatever. It makes total sense. Okay, the gun track weapons option should be vehicle all, which made a lot of sense. I know the orc players are a little pissed off now because the Ripper Rainmaker change rocket salvo R8 indirect 3 to 1 use. So Lee, what was the thinking behind that?
The thinking on the one-use rocket salvo, is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
For the Marauder Ripper or Marauder Rainmaker.
Well, I think it came down. Yeah, the Rainmaker Mauler. Yeah, the Rainmaker suit. I think that came down to it was preferred to make one of the weapons that it had one use rather than make them pay more points or worth more VP or take weapons off, because the whole benefit of that suit is that it has an option for everything. That's what makes it useful for that player, is it's like a Swiss Army knife in the field. You pick the weapon you need for the situation you need it for, and we didn't want to change the cost or the victory points for that, so that it would still be a very playable option for them. So the choice we went with was making one of those weapons one use. So it still has a purpose and still has versatility. It's just one of those weapons won't be usable the entire match.
And the main reason
that's good, because that thing is devastating.
Yeah, and that's the reason we chose that particular weapon to make one use, was because that weapon is indirect, and it's has the explosion and everything. And what we were seeing is, like, in a lot of the bigger games, there were people that were taking like 2 or 3 Rainmaker suits like that, and they just stick them back behind cover and rain these blasts down every single turn like that.
Right. But although, for some reason, I guess with the changing of tough and the changing of AP and stuff, the suits are a little bit more manageable also in this edition. It seems like, you know, where before they were almost indestructible, you had to shoot them with the whole faction. Now they're more manageable. Going against them, it's a little bit easier to handle them, I think, in the newer edition.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely a lot more killable now that armor on everything has gone down as well.
Right.
Although they are a little bit tougher now because of the fact that size equals wounds.
Right, but now you can actually get more wounds on them, so, you know, it's kind of a wash, but it's actually, you know.
I think it still comes out. I think it still comes out net. They're a bit easier to handle, but it's not all downhill.
Yeah, because those guys used to stand on top of a piece of terrain and just rain fire upon you, and it was disgusting.
It was. Mm-hmm.
Those and the frickin' Morbeasts, but other than that, yeah, the Morbeasts are a little bit more manageable too. All right, so let's. HEW cannon should be vehicle, lance, Hulk. So basically, you could take that on a gun track, or the Hulk can take it. Is that how I'm reading that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Rebel Grogan rifle should be R6 rapid fire. Okay, that, like one of those typos that didn't make it.
Yep.
The Craw weapon option should be small arms, light, assault, melee. So basically, the Craw fighting guy can take all the combat weapons he wants. He could take whatever combat weapon he wants.
Yeah, now I actually have a question for you on this one.
Okay.
You were on your FAQ video, you were saying that he doesn't come with anything. He does come equipped with a wrist blaster. You don't have to buy everything from him.
Right. Well, no, maybe I meant it where he didn't come with anything assault-wise.
Oh, okay. That might have been what you meant.
Yeah, he comes with the wrist blaster, but he doesn't. So basically, he has a wrist blaster, but he is a. I just look at it because he has a wrist blaster, but he's got a 6-up fight, a 6-up shoot, but a 4-up fight. So, not to give him a combat weapon, or give him chance of combat weapon with a 4+ fight stat, doesn't doesn't make sense to me. You know, he has such a good
Yeah.
fight stat. You should be able to equip him with something. But now it's good because you can give him, you know, you can give him ceremonial blades, or you want to give him combat blades, which gives him frenzy 1 with a 4 or 5 stat. That's really cool. The ceremonial blades, you know, it's 5 points, but the victory points 1, but AP 1. So how do you guys figure that out? Let's say something with AP 1 and then frenzy. Like what's the balance in that? Like because I know Tim, you're all about the balance with the economics of it. So
Well, so like as far as that goes, we decided that a lot of the suppression type weapons are going to be worth more victory points. That's actually later on you're going to get to the switch of the Desolator and the Onslaught Cannon. The
right.
Onslaught Cannon uh, uh, is actually going to lose a victory point, and the Desolator gains, I believe, was what it was.
Yeah. Well, basically we'll go over that now. Onslaught Cannon, change V from VP0 to VP1, and the Desolator change VP1 to VP21. So let's just go over the Desolator is 8 points. Now it has 1 victory point. Range 8 AP2, which is great, and it's not heavy. So
yeah.
For 8 points and 1 victory point, that's a bargain.
It is. It is.
Right.
He's most non-models and with a range of 8 and only 8 points and no heavy to weigh down your shooting. It's a really good set.
Yeah, that's like, you know, that's a given right there. And then the Onslaught Cannon, which it didn't make sense. It's 3 points, and it's a range 5, weight of fire and suppression, which is in and of itself awesome, but it was only 3 points. So by giving it 0, that it makes sense with that. I can understand that. You know.
Yeah. So typically, if you look at a lot of the different weapons and stuff, like here we've got the chainsaw, which is AP1, is 5 points. Let's see if we can.
But that the chainsaw can only be taken by a walker. So
yes.
By the strider.
But if we jump back to another group, let's come back here and look at the orcs. They have the claw, which is also AP1,
right,
and also costs 5 points. So in general, we kind of with an AP1 melee weapon is worth about 5 points. Now, I mean that's obviously going to change from faction to faction because some factions have generally better melee stats than others and stuff like that. But in general, we found that 5 points is usually enough for an AP1 weapon.
Right. Yeah, because like I know people are up in arms when we discuss that the let's say an enforcer sniper, which is very, very, you're talking 3 victory points and almost, you know, on the upside of 30 points. And then you could just take a good old rebel sniper of 16 points for 2 victory points. And they have basically the same shoot stat. But the sniper also has a 6-up survive and no armor. So I think that's where the balance comes into play with that, right? With the sniper and the, you know, comparing snipers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that, you know, people are freaking out, but I tell you what, playing against the Rebs and killing the sniper in 1 round of shooting it's not an uncommon thing. It happens a lot. I mean, you know, my son is a huge Rebs player, and he's taken 2 or 3 snipers, and he's at the point now he's like, I'm not even taking them anymore because you kill them in the first round. I said, yeah, well, you gotta, you know, because you're always going to put them up, and you're always getting 6 dice with you know, sniper scope and level above, and God forbid you get a clear shot. So.
But I mean, if you look at the Rebel sniper model itself in the Rebs list, it's a hell of a bargain. The Rebel sniper. Because if you look at the regular rebel model, the regular rebel specialist is 7 points by itself, and if you look at the cost of a sniper rifle in the Rebs list, it's 16 points. The rebel sniper comes with a sniper rifle, and she herself costs 16 points. So basically, you're paying 16 points for the gun, and everything else comes for free. I've lost your sound.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, I hit mute for a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you buy a sniper rifle, you get a guy for free. That's nice.
Exactly. So I mean, the rebel sniper is a hell of a deal, and the drawback to her is that she's a glass cannon. You hit her, and she's probably going down.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what. Well, you know what? That's what a sniper does. You put him in an advantageous position and take that shot. You know, because it's you know, you got to put it where it is. You know, range 8, sniper scope. And I like that it's light sniper. You know, but the Rebs need it. The Rebs needed that. They really did. Between the Nomad and the Lancer, those 3 additions to the you know, to the Rebs list is good. And then also by taking Nikolovsky, and she makes the Lancer's troops, is just phenomenal. That's a great list. That's a good playing list right there. All right, Boomer should be Boom 3. So, okay.
Yep.
All right, so I think we beat to death the errata. You want to go through the general questions?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Can a shoot command dice result be used with a model carrying a heavy weapon? Yes. I mean, that's the whole point of having a freaking command dice. Of course it is. I'm gonna sprint my guy up, and I'm gonna shoot you with the heavy weapon that's a long action. Of course it is. Or I'm gonna move my guy up and then use a long action to shoot that. So that just makes sense. All right. Now this one, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, that one's just one of those clarification things. We were getting a lot of questions about it, and so we figured it was just easiest to come out and say it. I think a lot of the confusion about it came from the fact that people associated the shooting with a heavy weapon as a long action, and they weren't sure whether or not the shoot command dice provided that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a clarification, but you know, it just that was I guess a common sense one, but all right. If a pin model is thrown, example by a blast weapon, into a cube containing an enemy model, what happens? So basically, the pin model, I mean, you get thrown into a cube, you got to start a fight. So that's basically it, and then the other guy gets a +1 because you're pinned.
Yep.
All right, so now, here is a good question. This was on Facebook the other day. 2 Brockers, 1 Enforcer are in a cube. Somebody suppresses the cube. One guy gets up. Let's say the Brocker gets up. He gets to fight the Enforcer. Now, isn't stand-up a short action? Like how would you guys interpret that?
Stand up. Let me jump back to my book real fast. I believe stand up was a short action.
Stand up's a short action.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys are in the cube together, right? Let's say the three are in a. You know what I'm saying, Lee? You know what post I'm talking about, right? Okay, so the way I see it is, whoever gets lucky enough to get up first gets the the guy stands up. He's the first one to stand up. The other guy's pinned. I'm getting +1 because he's pinned. Tough. Too bad. It's luck of the draw.
Let's see here.
Yeah. That is a situation that we do have an answer on that post. I believe Mark answered it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Yes. But what Lee, you want to go over that one? Like, what did Mark say on that?
It's a little fuzzy to me right now. I've been working on some other stuff recently, but if I recall right, there's something in the setup, the way that stand-up works. If you're standing up from being pinned, you take that short action. Wasn't the explanation that it triggers an automatic fight that you can only survive? Is that the scenario we're talking about?
Yeah. But now the guy that stands up gets to fight, and then the guy that's still pinned can only survive. Correct?
You guys still there?
Yeah. So Lee, I think the way he ruled it was the guy that stands up gets to fight, but the guy who's pinned can only survive.
That's one that I'd have to look at. I'm not going to jump over someone that put a ruling on there.
Okay.
I thought I saw a situation where there was a case where if you were both and one stood up as a result of that, it triggered a fight that both of them could only survive or something like that. That's what I thought the one was saying, something to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the post that had the two both down in the same cube.
So this one may have to remain. Unresolved, at least until we can get back to Facebook and find that post. Because unfortunately, I haven't seen this post at all. And if Lee's not remembering it 100% clearly, we definitely don't want to go over whatever Mark said. So.
Right. You guys sound like politicians, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
Can't be everywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see. Here we go. Oh, there's a live stream right now. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Where the hell
If you want a link, I can look at it too.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the right now. I'm on the tablet, so I'll just read it, and I'll read what Mark wrote if I could find it.
Mm-hmm. If I remember right, I think part of the reason why the rule interpretation was questioned is because how you handle being pinned in a fight is different, whether it's your turn or the other player's turn.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got it. I'm just trying to see where. I don't think. I thought Mark wrote on it, but here, Thomas Bean said. It says, yeah, Mark isn't on here. It says this has been answered by a committee member.
Oh.
Brocker stands and fights, and triggers a fight from the enforcer. As both are standing up, they can only roll defense, so just stand up and no dice are rolled. If there was another way around and the enforcer stood up first, I guess the Brocker player would get to choose one of the two to stand up. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so we'll put this on the back burner. I see it where whoever stands up first gets to fight and the other guy can survive. But remember in the old days in version 1 where a guy was suppressed, if you moved into it, you would automatically stand up and fight him, but you would get the negative modifiers because of your being suppressed or pinned.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just do it like that. So guy stands up, I get to fight him, he gets to stand up, but I still get the +1 for him being suppressed in version 2. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, we'll have to get back on the forums. That might be where Mark answered it. But we'll have to look at that one and get back to you on that then. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, but if Mark's already answered it, then we're gonna want to talk to him about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we can get back to that. I mean, that's actually a pretty good question.
It is. It is.
Okay, next one. All right, I'm glad you guys did this one because this one was this was a fist fight question right here. What counts as a hit or miss? For example, attacks with blast weapons. That makes a lot of sense. So basically, you just got to win by the dice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I get one succession, I have armor and tough. Maybe I might not take any damage, but you're basically going to feel the effects of the blast, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so it basically is potential damage. So that I'm glad you guys clarified that. That made a lot of sense because a lot of times you would win the dice roll, say by 2, but then if a guy has armor and tough, he's not taking any damage. So some people would say it would be like he's not getting the effects of it. I look at it where it was almost like it burns. So if there's one potential damage, okay, maybe he's not taking damage, but he is going to get burnt. So instead of getting burnt in this case, you're getting thrown, or you're going to affect the effect of the blast.
Yeah. Essentially, what we did is we decided to define potential damage as having hit someone. So if you've dealt potential damage, you've hit them, and if you've dealt actual damage, then you've injured them.
Right.
And that's really the delineation that we decided to go ahead and mark out.
Now, potential damage is just the dice, right? That has nothing to do with armor. So you roll and I roll, and I win by 2. I potentially have the thing to hit you. So I'm actually hitting you, but since you have armor and tough, it negates the damage, but you still get affected. So basically, the grenade comes through and hits you in the chest, doesn't do any damage, but you go flying.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
We'll go with the gauntlet because that's the one that really that's the one that we answered a little bit later on that really kind of brought this one to the front, is because people would run in, swing with their gauntlet, they couldn't hurt the guy, but they were wondering, do I still get to knock him around?
Yes.
And that's why we really decided we really needed to define what a hit was. And so you can have your we'll say a enforcer run in, smack I don't know, something with a high armor, brood mother. He runs in, smacks the brood mother with his fist, with his energy gauntlet. He doesn't do enough damage to get through her armor, but because he's done potential damage, he has still hit her, and that's and so the energy gauntlet knockback ability does get to go on.
See, I like so we'll jump ahead from this would be 3. We're going to go to 9A just because we're on. It's basically the same difference. So now, if I have knockback, I refer back to this for my potential damage. Like you said, I win the roll. But what I like about knockback is, I get to basically pick where I push the guy, and that makes sense because if I'm shooting at him, it's coming from one area. But now we're in a fight, and I have my martial prowess. I could turn around and hit him on the left side, shooting him to the right of me, hitting him into a wall, knock him off a building. I really love the fact that that's in there. That now I know potential damage and I know where I'm going to throw the guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had a thing here. Not yet. You did? No, that's not. That was something else. All right. No, it's okay. I'm good. My son's coming in and making sure I do everything the right way because he's smarter than me. So, okay. Now, is this really a problem? When resolving blast attack, where is directly away from the target? You kidding me?
I didn't ask the questions. Someone was. It wouldn't be in the frequently asked questions section if it wasn't the frequently asked question.
I'm sorry. What was that, Tim? I'm sorry.
It wouldn't be in the frequently asked questions section if it wasn't frequently asked.
Okay. I don't know. I really never had a problem with that because I said basically when I was growing up, we had this thing, there were little dots with number on them. You play connected dots, so I figured out that would be the way to do it like that. So, you know,
it's a clarification issue. I'm sure at some point someone wanted to use the rule in a certain way that someone else disagreed with, and that's why it became an issue. And by putting down the clarification, it's defined now, so there's not going to be any more arguments about it. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. That's, you know, clarifications are always good because that avoids fights later on. All right.
Yep.
We'll throw this to Lee because I'm going to read the question and then we'll have the delay. All right. Number 5. How do I resolve an attack with a weapon that has frag but does not have a grenade? Unlike a grenade, weapons such as the Enforcer's Fusion Gun, range 4, heavy, frag 3, do not need to roll to hit in the target cube. Simply roll once for the strength of the frag, then each model in the target cube rolls survives separately as described on page 29. Now, does that mean if I have a fusion gun, I don't have to shoot the fusion gun, it automatically hits? Because that's the way it sounds. So what do you think about that, Lee?
Okay, yeah, this was a common one that would come up. If you look at a grenade, when you go to throw it, because of the grenade rule, you had to roll to see if you actually hit that cube or if it's scattered into a different cube. With something like the what's the Asterian? I'm trying to remember which one it is. That has like a frag 4 or something like that weapon. Mm-hmm. But what you're rolling then is just the straight. What's that? You're just rolling the straight attack. That is your to hit roll, essentially. If like take the Asterian example, you know, they're kind of sacrificing their quote unquote to hit roll because they normally hit on 3s and they're rolling to try to affect a whole cube versus targeting one individual with a regular weapon that wouldn't be frag to get the effect that they're trading off there. You know, this represents the cube isn't just a minute spot, it's an area, and some of the weapons are accurate enough to hit that area. You're rolling the straight frag, and that is your to hit, because if you only get 1 success and the other person gets 4 successes on their survive, I mean, you didn't get an effective hit out of it, you know. So I mean, you can look at it as I don't have to roll a hit, but you know, the hit and the damage is kind of combined in that. It's just that the grenades add another step rather than this one taking one away. Because if you think about to hit with a regular roll, I'm rolling my dice, and then if I have more than you, that's my potential damage. I don't roll to hit you and then roll for the damage, and it's the same with the bigger frag weapons too.
Okay, so now with the fusion gun, basically I don't have to roll to hit. I just have to roll my frag 3 damage. Is that correct?
In one roll, just like every other shot.
Okay. Okay, so just to sum it up, like I throw a grenade, I have to shoot the grenade with my shoot stat, but with the weapons like that, like the Asterian weapon or the fusion gun, no rolling, just straight up frag 3, frag 4, frag 5.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because that was a little. It's a little different than what we're used to. That rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go.
It's part of what makes those frag.
Go ahead, Lee. Keep going.
It's a part of what makes those frag weapons just a little differently, but it's not necessarily all positive. The Asterian are trading down because the frags are 6/4+ versus their shooting stat of a 3+ when they go to do something like that. But they're trading off to affect a whole cube rather than an individual.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, so it's a good thing, but it's like a negative and a positive at the same time. So, but for those guys just tuning in, either you're listening on Google, YouTube, or the Deadzone podcast, Lee's got a little delay, so we might be stepping on each other. So just don't worry about that. We're gonna power through this. Okay, number 6. Does a psychic model using a psychic attack get a +1 modifier for being on a higher level? Yes, it makes sense because it is a shooting attack. Would he get a +2 for seeing the whole model? I know this is Arthur's thing. I see Arthur's signature all over this one.
I would go with the exact same ruling. The reason we chose yes for being at a higher location is because 1, it's simple, and 2, it rewards tactical play. The psychic attack is just a shooting attack. That's why we decided to design it this way, is because we wanted it to be simple. We wanted it to just fit the exact same way that a shooting attack worked, and so we designed it that way. And we might have to talk about it because I don't want to jump the gun. But I suspect that even after we did so don't take this as a ruling just yet, but I suspect that even after we talk about it, we will agree that you would get the +2 for seeing the entire model as well, just because it is a shooting attack.
It makes total sense that it would. You know, like, so I see the whole model, I can give you the full effect of the thing, not just hitting like your hand or something that we could see through a window. It makes perfect sense. So, but yeah, I know that's Arthur's thing, so he's going to jump on this hopefully. All right, so now here we go. You guys better strap on your safety belts, because here we go. Can a model with the vehicle ability be pinned? Yes. What? Are you kidding me? You mean,
I knew this was coming.
Yeah. You bet you know. All right. So you're telling me that a dog drone can suppress an Iron Ancestor?
Yeah.
Why?
So here's we spent a lot of time talking about this one. We wanted to represent it as best as we could without having to add in, because we don't want to just make vehicles constructs, because they're not. They're piloted by people. And trying to make them constructs means that all of a sudden they're immune to being pinned, and the people inside are fearless of bullets, stuff like that. This is actually part of the reason why we decided to throw construct onto the Inferno drill and the Boombot, because they are constructs, but the person driving them isn't with them. They're driven remotely. Take a Strider or something, a jet bike, there's going to be a person driving it, whether they're inside the cockpit or sitting on the back of the bike, whatever. These vehicles are actually driven by people, and the people don't want to get shot. Now, just set up a theoretical situation. You're in a dead zone. You've got yourself a rifle. You know there's no way you're going to be able to blast the armor off of that heavily plated vehicle. What are you going to do with that gun? If you've got nothing else to shoot at, you're going to aim at the cockpit. You're going to try and get their head down. If nothing else, maybe you'll get lucky and get a shot through the cockpit into their head. But at the very least, you're going to try and make sure that whoever's driving that thing doesn't want to get their head up. And that's really kind of what we went off of when we designed this rule. Is we were thinking whoever's piloting this thing is going to be the target of these small arms fire, and they still don't want to die. They're not fearless.
Right. So, but what I see is, like, if you take, let's say, the gun track, the Sky Razor, the Enforcer jet bike, the Brocker bike, stuff like that where there's a rider exposed. I could say I would agree. But the Iron Ancestor is just a dude that is wrapped up in so much armor and stuff that he feels invincible. Also, the Brocker bike is, let's say, 23 points, where an Iron Ancestor might be 60 plus. So now you're telling me that some schmuck, some jerk off play guy with an HMG has suppression can actually pin these guys. I don't know. I got an issue with that. I mean, certain things can be pinned, and I understand that, but I think that I don't know about the Striders. I think the Striders. I know they're not constructs. I see where you're going with that, but still, they I got a 60-point model, and some idiot's going to keep suppressing me every time I stand up. You want to let Lee do that one?
You want to take it, Lee, or shall I keep going?
I can. That's fine. I think one of the things that it takes too sometimes is not everyone pictures pinning the same way. I think sometimes we look at pinning, we think people are cowering face down in the ground, crying for help or something, and it's not always the case. Sometimes it's tactical maneuvering to put yourself out of harm's way. You don't always know what type of fire is coming at you. It's a dead zone. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of terrain. You can't really make out what's coming at you, and rather than stay in a risky position out in the open, you're going to maneuver yourself in a way to try to minimize the potential damage that's incoming so you can assess your situation. That's represented by having to do that short, quote-unquote, stand up or reorientate yourself to the environment. So if we look at it that way, it's not unreasonable for some of these bigger things that are getting their cockpit blasted at, and they don't know what's going on or where, and they have to take stock of the situation. It's going to slow them up a little bit, so that they can try to figure out what's going to happen before they bring their full weight of fire to bear on the situation.
All right, so basically, when we're looking at, say, pin, it's not pin per se. Like, let's say the Iron Ancestor is getting shot, so now he's going to actually turn and look at the guy that's shooting at him to blast him away. That might, something like that. So pinned is just a generic term, but it might not be the guy's laying on the floor, huddled in a pool.
Right. It can represent different things for different units, how they're taking stock of the situation. For a human trooper out in the open, yeah, he's probably hugging the dirt. But, for an Iron Ancestor, he might be backing up towards a wall in that cube or something to try to kind of bring his guns to bear and try to figure out what he's being attacked with and where he's going to blow up something next.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I kind of understand that. I just, like I said, a plague shooting at an Iron Ancestor and he's hitting the dirt. It's a little tough for me to imagine.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Should an Enforcer captain have a wrist blade or an energy gauntlet? In examples where examples picture contradict the rules or rules take precedence. That's a clarification. It makes sense. Can the Rin Nomad take both the sniper rifle and pistols? The picture suggests it can, and the model does not come with those options. No. If the model is assembled with the sniper rifle, it's a mercenary Hun whose unique feature has the sniper rifle, pistols, and fire control. That makes a lot of sense because one is a Rin Nomad and the other one is a Hun mercenary. So, it's just that I think Manti got lazy and used the same picture in both entries.
May not even necessarily be laziness. I don't know how many studio models they have. They may have only had one Hund. They may have only had Hund assembled and painted, and they just didn't have a generic Rin Nomad assembled and painted by the studio to photograph. So Again, I don't know what happens inside of the studio because we don't get access to that, but it's just a matter that and we'll get into this a little bit later because I've got a surprise that I wanted to show off.
Okay.
Before we got done, and this same exact thing came in when I was putting this surprise together. Is that we just don't have all of the pictures available that we necessarily may want. So
I got you, but you know what, Tim? It's a New York thing because when I said that they were lazy, I'm just busting balls. So don't worry about it. I'm just kidding.
gotcha.
But no, but yeah, but it is. You know, it makes sense because they look the same. So when I got the Kickstarter, I had to think, should I make him with the two pistols and two? Should I give him the two pistols and should I give him the two knives, or should I, you know, how should I do it? But actually, if you want, you can give him a sniper rifle if you wanted. But now, you know, the sniper rifle's 16 points, so now you're talking he's over 30 points for you know, for that. But then again, if you give him the sniper rifle, he's got no extra VP points, and he does have a shoot of 4. So I don't know. I'd rather give him weight of fire with the twin pistols and then the twin knife frenzy 1. That just for 17 points, 2 victory points. He's got 1 armor, size 1. I mean, that's another, like we were saying, he's a solid addition to the Revs, man. He's good as it is. It's just, unfortunately, I think Mantic needs to come out with more Rin and Lancers. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of tired of using my Revs Dreadball guys as that. I like to have my Deadzone models in there.
Another option is just to go out and buy some more of them.
Oh yeah, well that's the next option. I just, you know, they got to put them out. You know, that's the thing.
I really want to get a Rebs Dreadball team and convert them up for Deadzone. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got that when they just came out, the unincorporated at 2 years ago at Adepticon when they just came out. And the only thing is they got those Centaur guys and the Rallarons, the
Frog thing.
Yeah, the frog guys. So we were like, all right, so those guys are in it. And then at the time, you know, it was a few months later where we knew that the Hun Bounty Hunter was coming out. So he's like, oh, look at that, that's really cool. And the Saphir is already, you know, they already have a team. So we thought those guys were coming out for the Rebs, and we're like, oh, these guys are going to be awesome. Like, you know, the Centaur, he runs like across the pitch. So we were thinking, oh my God, he's going to have like a 6 movement on the Deadzone board. So, you know, I mean, I know we're in our infancy. I know that's probably coming in the future, but you know, we were kind of hoping for that. You know, it's like anything else. You're hoping for certain things to come out, and they don't, and it's okay because, you know, we're going to be here for a while, so I'm sure that'll come out eventually. You guys are snickering over there. I know that it's going to happen, so I know I've been kicked in the head a lot, but I pick up some certain things. So yeah, so if you're going to run a Revs list, give them the 2 knives unless you're going to pay for the sniper rifle. That's basically it. So, but also, although the Hun Mercenary he's a pretty good specialist to take with you. All right, so let's go. Can you clarify the placement rules? Excuse me. Affected by knockback.
This one was the walls, right?
Yeah, that's the one. We went over it. So, excuse me. I'm glad that we went over that because the potential damage was covered, and then knockback. You just, you know, you use your martial prowess and knock them wherever you want. Knock them through a window, off the building, into a fence, whatever. It makes a lot of sense. Okay. So if I want to replace a model's weapon, will I subtract the cost from the former weapon before adding the cost of the new weapon? No. I think that's a question for guys that are just brand new into wargaming, because I don't think any game you can do that. You know, I'm going to subtract 3 points for his pistol and replace it. You're not getting a discount, guys. You got to pay for it, and he's stuck with it.
That was actually the reason why we designed it the way we did. We wanted to have the basic weapon is what came with him, Just like, I mean, if you play other war games, 40K and stuff like that, you see in those games you have a certain number of models that come with the basic weapon, and then you can upgrade it if you meet certain requirements. You can pay more to upgrade, and that's really what we wanted to do. Is we wanted to aim for, you start with this basic weapon, and then you can upgrade it if you've got if he's a specialist or something like that.
Right. That just makes total sense. You know, and that, you know what, that comes to, I guess they put it in there because in version 1 you got a card and that was it. That's what he had.
Mm-hmm.
Now version 2, I like this aspect a lot better, where you have the more customability to your force. You could build your force any way you, almost any way you want. I'll say like 85%, because, oh, I wish this guy could take this, I wish this guy could take this. It's going to come up, but right now it's so customizable that it is your force. It's like what you can do with your stuff. So, you know, I like that a lot. Does the Piper command ability require a command dice to use? Yes. That just makes sense, right? I mean, this is your baby. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was actually the one that designed the Piper for the Infestation expansion, and yeah. So what I was wondering, as far as the command ability goes, his command ability is the ability to move some extra troops. I know that in one of Tyler's videos, Tyler wasn't sure about how that was any different from the extra action the extra activation ability, and so I had to describe to him the fact that if you're using the Piper, not only can you get the extra activation, but you can also use the Piper's extra activation, so you can actually have up to 3 models activating in the same turn.
Right.
So that's the advantage that you can get from that. And in order to use that, yes, you need the command dice. In order to summon more rats, that's his special ability. To summon his swarm of rats. To summon a swarm of rats, you don't need a command die. That's just a special action. He can just use a special action to do that.
And with that action, that's just when he's activated, correct?
Yep. Just when he's activated, you use one of his short actions to summon a rat swarm, as long as there's enough room for that rat swarm, so that they can be summoned. And again, I mean, whatever other restrictions there are as far as special making a special action goes, you can't do 2 special actions in the same turn. So if there's like some sort of a objective or something that you have to use a special action on or something, if you're playing a specific scenario or something, you can't do 2 of the same actions in the same turn, so you couldn't do 2 special actions. Right. But other than that, I mean, it's just you use one of your short actions to be a special action, summon some rats, and provided there's enough room to summon them, then they show up.
You know, that
I wasn't sure if maybe that's what the question was about, if you needed a command action to summon rats, in which case the answer would be no, you don't need a command, you don't need a splat to summon rats. The splat is only used for his command action, which is to get an extra activation for a troop model specifically. Right.
Well, I think it was good to clarify, because this is the first time where the Swarm Lord is an ability that somebody has that's never, you know, I don't think anybody else has something like where they have a command action, which would be his Tide of Vermin, and then, or Tide of Vermin, I'm sorry. Vermin. The Tide of Vermin, I like that better. And then he also has an ability. So he's the first one to actually have something like that, I think. Other than maybe John Starnfeld, where he gets called in, or that thing. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like this ability, because let's say he's in combat. Well, you can't do it when he's in combat, but if he's going to go into combat, he can call a bunch of rats in and then go into combat. And now if they move in with him, you're going to get a +1 for fighting. You know, they're going to be friendly with him. So that's a It's a really cool ability, and I like the, you know, somebody was saying, we were having a discussion about this on one of the Deadzone monthlies, where Mantic should sell more of the little rat guys, you know, that came with the Piper, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's up here. Deploy up to 2 Veerman swarms in your deployment zone. If there are fewer than 2 Veerman swarms in play, the Piper may use a special ability. So if you only have 2, it doesn't matter because you can only use 2 at a time.
Yeah, at least in the current rules, you'll never need more than 2 anyways.
Right.
We specifically designed it that way because we didn't think Mantic had any intention of selling these guys separately. And we knew that anyone that had pledged to the Kickstarter was going to get 2 and only 2 per pledge.
Right.
So we decided to build it specifically to that, so that you would only need 2 at any given time. A future iteration may change that if Mantic ever decides to sell these individually. I know I would love to get some more of them, but you don't have any use for them at this point. So,
right. I mean, you could use them as cool stuff to put on bases. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would love to have another swarm of them to have him standing on.
Right.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that, or put it on the Broodmother's base, or maybe the Nightmare. Just something cool, you know, just to have, you know.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
make your models look cool. Make them look different. So, all right, we did that. The Pipers come in. Although I really do like this the Veerman stuff. I like this elite list. It's pretty cool. I'm building them up quick because I want to get them on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so can I give a mono scout bike to any model that has the ability to carry items? That is awesome, because we were having a debate. Should we put a Peacekeeper on a mono wheel? So yes, that's awesome. That's all. You made my day with that one. Can a Pathfinder tag a model and then shoot it? Yes, provided it has the actions available to do so. Was that a thing? I mean, it just makes sense.
So yeah, the part of the issue with that is, again, the fact that tag is a special ability, a special action ability, whereas shooting is a shoot action. But the fact that tag is described as them targeting them with the gun, sort of like hitting them with a paintball or something. So people thought of it as being a shoot action, despite the fact that it's not. And so I think that's where that confusion came from, is that people think of tagging as being, I shot you, now can I still shoot you with an actual shoot action? Mm-hmm. So, but absolutely, you can definitely tag someone and then shoot them in the same action.
Right. If you have line of sight, if that's your first action, you tag them, then you shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's too short. It's 2 short actions, and tag. It says it is not a shoot action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember in one of the beta play tests that we were doing, tag was not an ability. You could just do it. That was pretty cool. That was a good ability. Okay, I have a question. I don't know if you want to let Lee take it or you want to take it.
I'll let Lee try first. I've been taking up so much time.
Nah. It's funny though, because I see you answering and I see Lee's facial expression, so it's pretty good. All right. Here's the thing. So I've been playing a lot of the Pathfinders. I'll be honest with you. I was skeptical when their rules came out. I wasn't too happy with them, but I said, let me, like anything else, first impressions don't really matter until you get into the playing of it. So I started playing them a lot, and I got to say, I really like the Pathfinders with the scout ability, the tag ability. It's just great. The dog drones have the place. The jet bikes have their place, and I'm just trying to find the build. I got a bunch of builds I'm using, but I'm enjoying the crap out of using it. I really like the Pathfinders. I wasn't keen on them because I'm a Peacekeeper guy, but I'm getting one over. Now, the Pathfinder's Sergeant's ability. All right, I'm gonna read it because this is a thing of contention with me. This was a fist fight. All right. And I'm a 250 pounds, so I try not to throw my weight around here, but sometimes you got to do it. So his ability is target acquisition. Spend an army special result on your command dice to mark an enemy model as a target for the rest of the round. The model is treated as though it has been marked as a target by the model using the tag ability. This does not require line of sight and does not count as an action. So basically, I use my splat, I light up the guy, all right? So everybody has tag on him. So if I have a burst laser, if I have a sniper rifle, if I have an enforcer with a shotgun, he's acquired, I get a +1 to him. Does my tag rifle get a +1 also? So what I would get +2, target acquisition and tag, or it doesn't stack? I know you can't tag a guy and stack it. That I understand. But since this is target acquisition, do they stack or they don't stack?
We're talking about the target acquisition special on the sergeant, correct?
Correct.
Can you read the wording of the sergeant one again? I don't have my book on.
Okay, so target acquisition is spend an army special result on your command dice to mark an enemy model as a target for the rest of the round. The model is treated as though it has been marked as a target by the model using the tag ability. This does not require line of sight and does not count as an action.
Right. It's marked the same as if, and the tag ability says that it doesn't stack, and so hitting it with another tag wouldn't do anything beyond already having done it.
Okay, so basically, I use target acquisition. All my guys that don't have tag rifles would get the +1, and then he's already tagged. So if I have a tag rifle, he's already been tagged anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just that it doesn't require a line of sight to him. So. So basically, that's like I'll light somebody up, and then I got to maneuver myself to get that extra ability in there.
Yeah.
Extra dice.
Essentially, what the Pathfinder Sergeant's splat does is it gives you it has a couple of different aspects to it that are better than the original tag ability. One is the fact that yes, it does not require line of sight, which is awesome. And then two is it does not count as an action. So you spend the command die. That means one of your guys doesn't have to spend an action to tag.
Yeah, it could have went either way, because the way it's written, it's like maybe you could stack it because it was the target acquisition, but that was one I was like, I could see it going either way. So that's, I'm glad we clarified that, because
it's a fair question.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, putting a Pathfinder up with a tag rifle, target acquisition on him, and then I tag him also, and I'm getting 3 extra dice for that. That'd be sweet for the Pathfinders. But then I could see where we're getting away with it. I was trying to break the game, guys. You gotta,
The more you break, feel free to try and break the game. The more you break it, the more we can refine it.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. Absolutely. Okay, this one I guess is specifically for you guys. Which of the infestation characters are mercs? Basically, all of them are.
Yeah, you can use. So I suppose we probably could have been a bit more, a bit better as far as done a bit better as far as clarifying this. All of the elite characters are still mercs. And eventually, we hope to have all of the mercs also be elite leaders as well. But they can all be used as mercs. The only difference is if it's a merc instead of a leader, you don't get the recon value. You don't get to use their splat ability, stuff like that. When you're using them as a merc, they are simply a merc. You get so if you were to take the Piper, for instance, he would lose his splat ability, and he would lose his recon value. You would still get to use his bonus for summoning more rats, his special ability, but he since he's not your leader, you don't get his recon value, you don't get his splat ability.
Yeah, it just makes sense because that's the way it's always been. So if I take the Broodmother as the leader and then I take the Piper as a merc, the Broodmother's in charge, so we use her abilities, not his.
Exactly.
That makes absolutely sense, I guess.
And another thing I should probably clarify is, let's say you do take the Broodmother and the Piper, and the Broodmother is your leader. If she dies, leadership does not transfer to him. She is just he does. You don't suddenly you don't get to start suddenly using his recon value, although that wouldn't matter anyways. But you don't get to suddenly start using his splat either. He wasn't leading at the beginning. He doesn't get to take control when she dies. She was the leader. When she's gone, she's gone.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense too, because back in version 1, you were able to take as many leaders as you want. So that was like Enforcer Captain, Enforcer Sergeant, and then you would use that for the command dice and activations and stuff. But now you can't take as many leaders as you want, which it makes sense. You know, I can understand that. Now this one here goes against the fluff. Should the Piper have a tactician ability? No, his command ability is very strong. The Piper himself is not a charismatic leader. But in the fluff, it seems like he was a charismatic leader. You know.
From what I remember reading about the fluff, he was an outsider. The rest of the rats didn't like him, or at least the rest of the Veermen didn't like him. The actual rats, the biological rats that aren't Veermen, swarm to him, but the rest of the Veermen don't like him.
Okay.
And that's what we mean by him not being a charismatic leader, is the Veermen don't like him as a leader.
Mm-hmm. So they just tolerate him, basically. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So here we go. Should Long Range Observer N7-117 have an energy gauntlet? Yes, see errata. So the model is he's built with one, but I understand he should have had one, and here was my reasoning, and I said it in the video. My man he's got a 463 stat, okay? He's 34 points with 5 victory points. He deserves to have an energy gauntlet. He's expensive. You know, hey, listen, I understand the laser rifle, I understand the grenade launcher, on my mark ability, I understand all that, but for 34 points, 5 victory points, you could throw him an energy gauntlet in there, you know? He definitely deserves it. Out of anybody, I think he deserves it. Now, can we go over, I don't know, I'm going to let Lee do it, and then I'm going to be quiet again so that Lee can get on it. Can we go over how to use on my mark? Because the way I see it is anybody with line of sight to the guy goes, but then he's activated. Does that forego their second short action? Let's say I have a tag rifle, which is a short action to shoot. Does that automatically make him go long action from there? And I'll be quiet now because Lee's going to answer.
Well, can we go ahead and read the ability? Like I said, I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Sure. Spend an army special result when one of your models has taken a shoot action. A second unactivated model with line of sight to the target of the first shoot action may take a shoot action aimed at the same target. Mark the second model activated once the second shoot action is resolved. So basically, the second guy shoots, but it's a long action for him. Is that correct?
Essentially, yes. But what you can also do with that is you could foreseeably shoot 3 times in an activation because well, actually, probably more than that. But if you use your initial character to shoot, and you use your army special to have the other guy activate and shoot, and then you happen to have a shoot command dice for the guy whose phase it actually is, or even if you wanted to use a +1 activation to activate another guy, it kind of stinks for the guy who got activated to turn a normally short shoot action into a long, but what you're able to do is string together a lot of shooting in one go, breaking up that normal I do one, you do one cycle. Mm-hmm. So it is pretty strong to be able to have another guy from a different position get a shot on top of that too, when your opponent might not be expecting him to go because that's not the guy you went with.
Right, and that's good. That can counter that horrible ability that the Marauders have where they steal your shoot actions from you.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. That's a situational thing. On the surface I'm not too crazy about it, but I think I got to gameplay that to see how it works. And I'm not like a lot of things in this game. I don't pass judgment until I actually use it because I see the wisdom of it later on when it's down the road.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
it's very much a trade-off situation. Sacrifice.
Keep going, Lee. Keep going, Lee. What are you saying? Go ahead. Go.
It's very much a trade-off situation where you're sacrificing an action on another character that could have acted with all of his activations later to act in addition to what you're doing now in the present. And so, like you said, it's very much going to be a situational thing, but it can be very strong used at the right time.
Yeah, I see that when you get down to the end of the game and you can you're trying to table your guy and everybody's got line of sight to say one guy and you have your whole army try to wipe him off the table. That would be a pretty decent situation to use that.
Well, you could also use it earlier in the game if there's someone that has to die right now. You can get a lot of extra shots at one guy before that guy gets a chance to go too. So
yeah, that's
flip it the other way if you want to.
See, now that we're discussing it, I start to see the tactical advantages of it. All right, let's go 17. What happens when I want to replace an existing weapon with 2 fire modes, such as an Asterian Charge Glove or a Creeper's Death Pack? So basically, you just pick one. Was that another clarification?
It was. Take the Det Pack, for instance. You go to the Det Pack listing and you see Det Pack, Maglock, Det Pack, Prox Fuse. Both of them are 4 points. Both of them are 0 victory points. Both of them are AP2. One is range 1, one is range melee, range fight. Mm-hmm. People weren't sure. Maybe you buy the Det Pack once at 4 points, and that covers both. Or do you have to buy each separately? And we were just clarifying, if you want both the Maglock and the Prox Fuse, you have to pay for both of them.
Okay, so you got to pay for both of them, like you said. But now the Creeper has both of them. That's the one that takes both of them?
Yes, he comes with both of those by himself. Again, that's why he's a specialist. And I mean, if you look at him, he's also got a worse shoot. Well, I guess not worse shoot value. He's still got a pretty bad shoot value, but
basically he's a crawler, but he's a specialist.
Yeah, he's basically a crawler, but he doesn't take a rifle or ray gun with him into battle. Instead, he just takes these Det Packs, which are really, really good at taking out vehicles and stuff, but they're not particularly effective ranged weapons.
Right. So the Creeper himself with the Det Packs is basically a specialist. If he's going to have a certain ability to get out there and do what he's got to do. Mm-hmm. So now, just to clarify, when you're buying the Det Pack, you're either buying the Maglock or the Prox Fuse. You're going to buy one or the other, correct?
Yes, exactly, or both if you want, because one's melee, one's actually they're both listed as light explosive. I think one of those, that might have to be something else we talk about, is the Maglock one is range fight. That should actually be melee.
Yeah. And the other one is...
So The other one's light explosive. That's correct. But that light, that first one, that maglock, I think should be a light melee. So
Right.
that's something else we might have to resolve in the errata, the next one that we throw together. So
Yeah, because he can take small arms, light melee, and explosive. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to look at that. I'll make a note of that and bring it up at the on the Slack channel. But if you want to have both of them, you have to pay for both of them. You can buy one, the other, or both, assuming that you meet the requirements. But
maybe even just change the name of one of them, because I think that's why it's confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, a claymore does one thing, and then the one like a sticky bomb does another thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why that's another heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I think that's where the confusion comes from, is the fact that they both have the same cost, the same number of victory points, the same AP value. Apparently, they're both listed as light explosive, although, like I said, one of them should have been light melee. But
Right.
I think that's where the confusion comes from, and it's perfectly valid confusion. But yeah, if you want to be able to use both of those profiles, you have to pay for both of those profiles.
Right. And that's like also too like the overseer for the Asterians. He's got a charge glove, which is range F knockback, and then the staff of command is range F AP2. So it's basically, he's cool. He's expensive, 30 with 3 victory points, but he's got a whole host of weapons. So now I'm gonna, we're in combat. I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna use my staff of command right now, which is an AP2 because I'm going against that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to use a charge glove because I want to try to knock you into a wall or knock you off a building. So I got to decide what I want to use.
Yeah.
So that's just, you know what that is? That's just courtesy among gamers. Is what are you hitting with? I'm hitting with this. So, it makes sense. You got to tell them ahead of time what you're going to hit with. And, that just makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Leader option in the weapons category. Is that just that? I think that's just setting yourself up for something later on. I think the only one with a leader ability is the progenitor for the Veerman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's opening up future design space.
I think that's cool because later on you could say, I know you guys come out with we're going back to Nexus Side. Maybe you do an expansion on that. And it's like some Dr. Simmons gets to pick something, or whatever. The general, now he can do this. That's like also the Pathfinder sergeant. Why he should be able to have like a tag rifle. I don't know why he doesn't have a tag rifle. That's just I think that's silly. And he can't pick anything.
You're right. He can't. I don't think we noticed that, actually.
That's why I'm here.
Yep, that's why you're here. That's something we may have to bring up for the next errata as well, because he should be able to take it, because it looks like the only thing he can take is melee, and at the very least he should be able to take a tag rifle or something.
Or he should have a tag rifle as just, he should come with a tag rifle. He's like, his ability is tag. All his boys have got tag, all his girls got tag, everything tag rifle all around, and I think that's what makes the Pathfinder special, is that they take a tag rifle, which is almost a sniper rifle, but not really, and that's like I think I would like him to have a tag rifle, even for the points he should get it for free, not for free, but it should be included in the points.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look at that when we talk about errata version 2 as well, because I didn't notice that before. But yeah, he should definitely have access to some sort of guns other than a pistol, which is all he has right now.
Right, because it almost makes him useless, because I think the Pathfinders are recon guys, but they're also sniper guys. That's the way I look at them.
Yeah. So that's another thing to mark down as a note.
Yeah. Good. All right. I'm glad. I'm making changes. I like this. Is the weapon category heavy the same as the weapon ability heavy? That was the thing we were talking about before. I think the name should be changed, but I think people's head are going to explode if you change one of the names. So, you know.
Yeah. At this point, the rules are out. We're going to go ahead and just stick with it as it is, but that's definitely something that we'll keep in mind in a future iteration, Deadzone version 3 or whatever, is that we need to be more careful with the names that we give to abilities and types and stuff like that, so that there's less overlap and confusion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so now, what happens if a model or grenade would scatter off the board? If it's a grenade, it's going to hit the solid wall that surrounds the dead zone, which is not there, but we know it's there. And then indirect, if it goes over the wall, then it goes over the wall. That makes perfect sense. This one here, all right, this is a little hairy. A model begins its activation with an enemy in the cube. It initiates a fight using a fight action long, killing the other model. Then I use a move dice into a cube containing an enemy model. Does this initiate a new fight action even though I have used a fight action already? Yes, fight action happens as part of the move action granted by the move dice. Makes sense. That's a way to chain from the version 1 without actually having the chain rule in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So in version 1, you weren't allowed to take 2 fights in a row. In this one, you're not allowed to take 2 fights in the same activation without using a command dice or something. However, a move action is not a fight action. So if you fight and then move, you're still making 2 different actions. The fact that that second action triggers a fight doesn't change the fact that you're still making 2 different actions.
Yeah, I think the command dice just trumps everything. I think it just, and it's because of the command dice, the strength of the command dice really makes it that's why it's so important when you're choosing a leader. Do I go with Tactician 1 or Tactician 2? Because those command dice are just so strong, and that's one of them right there. So, all right, let's go 22. Can a model change levels with a sprint action? Yes, you can change levels with a sprint action. I think that was a holdover from version 1 with the climb ability, which was so convoluted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Changing the climb action in this edition definitely helped to clear that up quite a bit.
Yeah, because climb was just very confusing. I start a model activation with an enemy in the same cube. I use my first action to move out of the cube. Can the model take a shoot action? Yes. Well, it makes sense because you move out and now you're free. Now you turn around and blast them in the face. For the Rebel Commander's always short ability, is there a limit to the number of items that you can create using this ability? You have a finite amount of abilities in the dead pile, or the ones you didn't use, and that's it, right?
Yep.
That makes sense. I can't stand those abilities myself. I never take them. I just don't like them.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know you know. When determining the random item, is this possible? The dropped items? No. You got to take it from the stuff you didn't use yet. Very simple. I didn't know why this was a rule. I mean, I thought this was common sense. All right, I'm going to do it to Lee. So Lee, you're taking it. Here comes the question. What happens if you activate a toxic smokescreen in a cube that has a wounded model in it? Since they now have the vulnerable special rule, do they die immediately, or if they suffer a wound? So basically, the way it's written is, let's say I have a Teraton, I throw the smokescreen in it, he's got 1 wound on him, I do another wound, he actually dies because he's vulnerable now because of the smokescreen. Yes, Lee?
Correct.
That's it, correct? That's all I get? That's it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. No, but it makes sense because now it's like, poof, you're vulnerable. Now I got to get one shot. Yeah. All right. Put your seatbelts on. Here we go. If I am unable to place my strike team in my deployment zone due to cube limits, what should I do? I'm going to come after you boys on this, all right? The 3 things you came up with was move terrain. Forget about it. It's not happening, because that's like saying, let me take this building and move it over here. It's just, I don't see that. Start off the board and move or sprint to come on the board. I don't like that, because you should be on the board and you got to come in the board in reserves. If that's the case, let me come in from another deployment zone. I don't know. Model needs to come on the board before second round, etc. I understand that, but what if somebody suppresses that cube and I can't come on through those cubes? My thing was, the thing I came up with was, if, let's say, me and Lee are playing a game. I have a smaller army, he has the plague army. And he says, look, I need 2 extra cubes to put 8 zombies on. Cool. I'm going to take the same cubes on my side, but I can deploy in those cubes. So instead of having a smaller deployment zone, I have a little bit bigger deployment zone. I think that would be the lesser of the 2 evils. I think that would be here. But also, too, we've done some modeling, and with the standard scenarios in the core rule book, crowding can start to become a problem for some factions around the 250-300 point mark. I can take a crap load of zombies, I can take a crap load of creepers or stalkers, and at 150 points, I'll have a crap ton of guys out there if I'm taking a hordish army. So at 150, 200 points, we're already running out of space. So, you know, what do you think of my idea? What do you think about, you want to defend your ideas? Let's go.
So we actually went back and forth on this one for a while as well. I actually really like your idea as well. And really what this one comes down to is kind of a social contract kind of thing.
Right.
We were trying to provide options for different ways that people want to play tournaments. Yeah, especially in tournaments of even really competitive friendly play. Then rearranging terrain isn't going to necessarily be an option. If it's a really relaxed, friendly game, then maybe people are more willing to do that sort of a thing. But in a really competitive, friendly game, or especially in like tournaments and stuff, then moving the terrain just isn't an option. And
I just think moving terrain is going to create anarchy.
I am more than willing to admit that I probably play a lot less competitively than you do. So,
listen, it's competitive. It's fun, but it's got to be competitive. I mean, you know, come on.
As far as your option goes, I'm a pretty good fan of it. I heard you talk about it on your what the FAQ video, and that's actually not a bad way of dealing with it. You tell your opponent how many more squares you need to get to deploy in, and he gets those exact same squares on his side. And it's definitely not a bad way of doing it. And if that's the way you want to do it, then that is more than fine with us. Again, this one comes down to sort of a social contract thing. So however the 2 players decide to deal with it is probably going to trump whatever we say anyways. We just want you guys to enjoy your game. So.
Well, you know, it comes down to, like, if you're taking an army where you need the extra squares, then it gives your opponent, like you're saying, the social contract. It gives your opponent the ability to deploy, and also, you know, it makes it fair for him also, because I'm not being penalized for taking a small army, but I'm not being hindered by taking a big army. So, you know, it works that way. I guess we've been talking a long time because the kids are back.
Yeah, they are. So I'm going to have to let you guys go, and you and Lee can finish up. But before you guys go, or before I sign off and let you guys finish up, I wanted to show off something that should be coming out here pretty soon.
Cool.
Hold on, Rita. I'm still talking. This is something that a lot of, especially the old veterans of Deadzone 1 have been calling for, and I'm definitely no graphic designer, but I spent a lot of time working on these, and I'm hoping that people will enjoy them. So let me just go ahead and see if I can share my screen somehow.
Okay, I'm gonna click it on you so your screen is up. So right now, even if me and Lee talk, you're gonna be up there.
Perfect. Let me just see if I can figure out. I know how to share my screen with just one person, but I'm trying to find it with.
Yeah, go to the left. Go to the left, and where it says screen share, you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Just click on this one.
I hope it's gonna be good because I see Lee smiling over there.
So we spent a lot of time working on this.
It's a big reveal.
It is. I don't know how long it's going to be before Mantic actually releases them, but they're all finished now. So can you guys see what I've got up now?
Yeah, we can see it. The cards.
Yep. So what we did is we went through. This definitely isn't an exhaustive list, but we went through and made a lot of the more common combinations. Listed out the number of points, victory points, the stats down the side right here, as well as the different abilities and equipment and stuff for each of them. We've got probably about 24 to 40 cards per faction, just depending on the faction. We wanted to make sure that there's a little bit of everything in there, even if it's not an exhaustive list. Because with the system we've got set up, there's just so many different combinations of equipment you can get. But at the very least, we wanted to make sure that we've got a little bit of everything so that players can use it. The other thing is I have a bunch of empty blank cards that I also plan on having Mantic release, so that if other people want to make their own, then they can. And this will mainly be for people that want to do like casual games and stuff. They don't want to go through the process of setting up their army list every single time, and this way they can just get in there and throw these cards out and have a game ready to go real quick. As you can see, some of the cards, as I was talking about earlier, we just don't have artwork for, so that was kind of what I was alluding to then. Is some of these we just don't have the artwork for, so we'll have to, when artwork becomes available, we can update it, or you can update these, make some of the fill in some of the blanks on your own, and fill it in with your pictures of your own models or whatever. But we just wanted to reveal this, that we've been working on this for a while. It's been done for a little while now, and we're hoping that this will help satisfy some of those players that really, really miss having the cards from first edition.
That's cool because a lot of guys were like pissing and moaning about it, you know, and that's great. That's great that you're gonna have the cards out. You can spread them out and stuff like in the old days.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, we're gonna go ahead and provide these. Hopefully Mantic will be able to get it up on the Deadzone website or on the Mantic Games website here pretty soon. You can just download them, print them off. Right now they're set to print on a standard. You'll be able to get 8 poker-sized cards out of a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet, and you can print out as many of each one as you want. So if you want to be able to run a bunch of assault enforcers or something, then you can just print out as many as you want.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, what if you have a few enforcers and stuff, and you can keep the wound counters on them on the cards like we used to? Yeah, that's cool because let's say I'm running six Pathfinders. Now I can have 1 card for each guy.
Exactly, and like I said, I mean, I'm no graphic designer, but I even threw in these backs. So if you wanted to print it double-sided on some high-quality cardstock or something, then you have that option to do it and really make a deal of it. So
that's sweet, man. That's going to be nice, really nice.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that. And anyways, I better get going. My 2-year-old's about to fill a gasket. So
He's gonna grow. Hey, Tim, don't forget when you go back to Mantic, the coach deployment rule. Don't forget that's got to be. You got to have that in there.
We'll definitely consider putting that in on the next errata for you.
Sounds good.
But anyways, I'm gonna get going. You guys can finish up the last of it, and it was great talking with you guys. Take care.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, Tim. Thanks for coming up.
Oh, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, it's me and Lee. We're going to close out the show. Here we go. So if anybody doesn't know, the name of the show is What the Fact Did You Say? And Lee's got a little delay, but it should be okay because now it's just me and him. So, all right. This one here. I have taken 3 troopers. Does this give me access to 1 vehicle or 3 specialists or 1 vehicle and 3 specialists? I always understood it where you take 3 troops, you can take a vehicle and 3 specialists, and that's just the troop tax. That was pretty self-explanatory, right?
Those clarification things, yeah, it's absolutely and, not or.
Right. Okay. Does the monowheel scout bike change the size of the miniature using it? No, he's just sitting on a bike. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's just equipment like anything else, just an item.
And Boomer's grenades, he's got as many as he wants, right? He just throws tons of grenades. I mean, I've never taken Boomer, never used them, but I guess people are using them if they ask the question.
Makes him special. He doesn't run out.
Yeah. Okay, so Hammerfist drop armor. When called in, place a Hammerfist model in any empty cube on the table. Is empty referring to models, friend or foe, or referring to terrain or debris? It's referring to models. That makes sense because one is for models, and then what's nice about the elite list is you can come in with the models. That's the whole point of taking the elite list.
Mm.
Now
it's just referring to cube capacity being at 0. So
okay, so if there's 4 of my guys and then 4 of their guys in the cube, I can't jump in that cube because it's just that I got to have room to jump in there, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they're size 1, so that should be easy enough. What is the item count for loot tokens in version 2? 5 ammo, 3 frag, 2 AP, 2 intel, 2 medkit, 1 stun, 1 booby trap. I guess that's because some of us have the resin crates and we have to change over. Now victory condition. I'm sorry, Lee. Go ahead. I keep stepping on you.
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay, when and how do I check for victory conditions? This was a big contention from version 1 because in version 1, once you hit your victory, you would throw down the card and say, "Look, I won." I kind of like it that you wait till the end of the round because you gotta let's say you hit your VPs at the right point and your opponent's got 3 or 4 models to go. I don't think it's fair. I think waiting to the end of the round makes sense, and then basically check and figure it out. And if nobody wins, you just keep going. That's just I think that's good. That's common sense, and that's good. That's even for both sides.
Yes. It just makes it a more fair contest for both players.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I guess that's it. The other one are just campaign questions, and then the errata for the infestation was basically that he gets the power glove, which we discussed before. So I guess that's it, right? We've talked Man, we talked for a long time, but it was worth it. This is important stuff getting out there, right, Lee? We got to get the message out there.
Absolutely. Got to get this game moving, get a lot of people playing it. It's a great game, and just keep people enjoying it. The people already playing it, we want to make sure that they have everything that they need to be able to enjoy it the most they can.
Yeah, you know what? I was really upset with the guys on Facebook, and you know what I'm talking about, that like when the PDF came out, the not the book itself PDF, but the beta, final beta came out. They're like, that's it, no more, done, I'm out. And then now, after the Kickstarter come out, and then the 2-player sets in the stores, all I'm seeing is, oh my God, this game is great. Oh my God, it's great. Oh my God, it's great. And I'm glad that people gave it a chance, because the naysayers and stuff, it chaps my ass when you just got to give it a chance. And a few guys, I was looking online, would play the game and said it was terrible after playing 1 or 2 games. And then they show a picture of their board and they have like 3 pieces of terrain, 3 1x1 square of terrain. You're not giving it a chance.
Yeah. You know, as gamers, we tend to be really passionate about the things we like and really passionate about the things we don't. And because of that, some people will come into a game already determined to prove what they already know about it. And so, you know, that happens sometimes. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, you know. So
yeah. Well, like I said before, opinions like buttholes. That whole argument. So we don't have to, we don't have to worry it. But I really like where Deadzone's going. Are you guys working on anything? I know Tim gave us the bombshell for the cards, which is cool. Anything in the works in the future that you can kind of share with us, or something like, where's Sergeant Howlett? Because I'm getting upset. I miss my guy. He's on the back of a milk carton here. So what's the deal? What can you reveal? Is this? I know you guys are sworn to secrecy, but come on, you got to give me something.
Okay. I think I can say that yes, Sergeant Howlett is coming. I can't say when. I don't control the release schedule. Stuff happen. All the characters that we had in Nexus Sci that aren't presently available will be available. It just got to pop into the release schedule at the appropriate time, but they will happen. As far as other things, one of them has already been mentioned on one of your previous episodes. And, you know, I've already been sharing some stuff with you if you watch closely enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to, and I'm wondering, is Dr. Simmons going to suck this time, or is she actually going to be a upstanding plague?
She'll be okay, I think. I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, because it's what about the mercs? I know the merc section, because when we were discussing it last time, and then when I spoke to Ronnie about it, he was like, "Oh, just don't worry about the merc section. We're going to do that all over. We just put it in the book." Is that going to be revamped?
I can't really say exactly what's going to happen with that. That's one of those things that's out whichever way it ends up. I want to say something on the map.
Okay, so you're giving me the politician answer. I got you. All right, no problem. All right, my brother. So I think we've exhausted this topic, but I really, it's a pleasure finally getting to meet you. It was a pleasure talking to you. Pleasure talking to Tim. I want to let you know, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I didn't agree with everything, but I'm glad that we can have a heated, respectful discussion, because, like you said, we are passionate about this game. But in the same time, certain changes. Listen, you got to call the coach's deployment, or the coach's quota. What a coach's, you got to get me in there some way. Come on, help a brother out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say I do like the deployment rule. I do like that. So we'll see if we can't figure something out on how that gets implemented. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. So If you're been watching this live, we didn't get any questions. So if you guys are mad, because I know last time somebody was like, I was asking questions that didn't come through. I didn't get any questions, so I basically had to wing it myself. But if you're watching this on the YouTube and you want to leave some questions there, I know that Lee, Tim, Arthur, and the guys actually are there, so they might be able to answer questions off of YouTube. And if you're listening to this on the Deadzone podcast, I don't know, just maybe jot on over to YouTube, put some questions on there, maybe hit me up on Twitter, or go to the Mantic forum where it seems that it's the Wild West of Deadzone out there, so you can get your questions answered there. But I tell you, Lee, it was awesome. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. I appreciate your input. You and Tim were just fantastic, and we got to do this again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it, and thanks for all you do for the community. I love being able to see stuff getting produced out there, you know, podcasts and episodes, and people posting pictures on their Facebook pages of, you know, in the Mantic subgroups, different things that they're working on, different boards. I know we've had some discussions about some of those too, so definitely keep bringing that on. I like seeing that stuff. So
yeah, me and my guys over here and a few of the Wargamers Consortium, we just started a WGC Deadzone. So, you know, I know some people were asking why, but we decided to make our own thing. And, you know, I think it might be a little bit more of a competitive thing. But the way I look at it is when I go to get ice cream, I go to Baskin Robbins because they got a lot of flavors. I don't want to just go get vanilla. So the more information out there, the more groups out there, and the more differences of opinion. I know that the Wargamers Consortium, the guys I'm involved with, there's a whole section of people who have no idea about Deadzone. So by me putting up and being one of the moderators, myself, a bunch of guys on my crew, we got a guy in Infinity, the head of the WGC is in there. Also, Rob from the podcast is a moderator, and we're looking to branch that out into that section of guys that maybe aren't into it. You know, those guys are like Malifaux guys and games like that, like Wreckage and those skirmish games. So why not bring them the ultimate skirmish game and get it out there? And that's why we started that WGC Deadzone. So it's not in a competition, and I think people got to maybe put their big boy pants on and see that it's not a competition, but it is a way for us to get more names out there to people who wouldn't join a Deadzone group in the future. And I just think the more the better.
yep.
Yep. Variety, spice of life, right? So I want to thank you again. And you know, if you're watching this con, like, rate, comment, subscribe. And if you're going to give me a thumbs down, put something below that gives me a thumbs down. Don't just be one of them phantom thumbs down guys. I hate those guys. I don't mind. I could take it, but you got to give me a little bit of feedback. So, like I said, thanks for sticking with me, Lee. I appreciate you sticking all the way to the end. And if you're watching this, like, rate, comment, subscribe. Play some Deadzone. Take care.
See ya.